My name is Rudy Saldivar, and this is my family story. We lived in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico, because my business was based out of Hermosillo. I liked living in Hermosillo. That's where my wife and I met. It holds a special place for us. The day the accident happened, we started off in Ciudad Obregón, which was where my wife is from. We drove to Hermosillo. We got in very late, I'd say about 8:30 at night, and it was still like 105 degrees. I turned on the air conditioning, gave it a few minutes, then we got the kids down, put on their jammies, put them to bed. My wife was praying to them, and she asked me, "Can I make you something while you finish up outside?" I walk out, I start covering the load that I had.
I was trying to turn on the stove, and I noticed that it didn't turn by the first time. Then I thought maybe it was a problem on that burner, so I switched the pan to the other one. And when I turn it, at first I hear a sound like when you're opening a soda bottle, and then the explosion.
The house just blew up. Everything blew.
I can remember feeling a kind of really hot cloud coming to my body, and I can remember the pain, terrible pain I was feeling. I remember Rudy coming into the house and asking me, "What happened?" I was kind of confused at that time, and I said, "I don't know. How are the kids?"
When the accident happened, my oldest boy was 3.5, that's Rodolfo, and Diego was 3 months old. He was newborn. I had to decide which room to go into first. I chose the room that had more flames because I thought whoever's in that room needs to get out first. And that was Rodolfo, my oldest boy. I got him out and ran back in for Diego. He was under a broken closet door that had, when the closet exploded, it landed on top of the bassinet, and that's what protected him from the blast. So when it exploded, that door landed on top and kept the flames from getting to him. My wife, Maribel, was burned over 65% of her body, third-degree burns. My son, Rodolfo, was burned on 35% of his body, third-degree burns. And my youngest son, Diego, was burned on 15% of his body, third-degree burns. And Rodolfo was the most critical of the two boys, so they decided to fly him out the next day. It was a long, I think I was there for a month first with Rodolfo in Boston. And things became even more difficult because I was given a call letting me know that I had to go say goodbye to my wife, that she wasn't gonna make it. So I had to fly back from Boston. I flew all the way to Hermosillo. And she was still in a coma. She was unresponsive, but I couldn't say goodbye. I told her that I would be back, things would get better, and that everybody was fine. The kids were fine. Obviously, there was no response. After that, our insurance paid for a flight for Maribel and Diego to fly to Maricopa Hospital. Rodolfo and I joined her there, where she was there for 2 months. And so for the first time in 3.5 months, it felt like we were complete. We were introduced to the Arizona Burn Foundation by Linda. She was a volunteer. She is also a burn survivor. We still have contact with her. She's a great character to know. So she was basically the first person that we met through the Arizona Burn Foundation. She helped us navigate some of the services they were offering. The Burn Foundation also paid for the pressure garments for all three of my family members, and they also paid for a pressure mask that was made for Rodolfo. They helped us emotionally immensely. There was many times when we reached out for help. Once we were all together again, a major part of our day was taken up by wound care. So it was all three of them had to have bandages changed twice a day. There were kind of sessions that we would do. So it would be one person for a few hours, the next person. And by the time I was done with the third one, it was time to start with the first one all over again.
It was extremely painful, I remember. But at that time, I remember that I used to tell myself, I prefer to cry right now. It's better that hurts right now than crying in 10 years for not doing this. I mean, if I don't do it right now, I won't be able to do it later. And I have to be a kind of example for my kids. If I don't do it, they won't be able to do it. As an adult, I don't do it. I cry, it hurts. Why? What are the kids are gonna think? And that was the thing that killed me more into the therapy and surviving.
About a month into being back from Boston with Rodolfo, that is about the time when I realized that people do get better. Before that, it was hard for me to fathom that people get better. That's when I started seeing people coming back to visit doctors. I started seeing people doing better. I started seeing my wife doing better. My oldest boy, Rodolfo, was jumping on a bed.
I always thought my life was going to be in hospital clothes. I never thought I was gonna be able to wear clothes, jeans, comb my hair, makeup. And one time, I met a girl that she was also a burn survivor. She was visiting the hospital. When I met her and I saw her wearing jeans, blouse, makeup, and her hair all calm, I was like, if she could do it, I can do it. That was the first thing that makes me realize I'm going to be able to go through this. This is possible. Linda, she used to visit me in the room. And one day he called me and she asked me, would you like to go to a congress for burn survivors? That's interesting. How much it costs? Oh no, Arizona Burn Foundation is inviting you to go with me and attend the Congress. I was kind of scared, or I didn't know what I was going to expect to see. It was kind of weird, but it was a really good experience for me, especially when you realize you're not the only one. You're not the only one that is burned. You're not the only one with scars. Yeah, the kids start going to the Arizona Burn Foundation camp once a year. This whole week, I think, is the most important week in their lives, where the same thing that happened to me when I went to the Congress, they realize they are not the only kids. There are other kids. And I think they feel like they are at home. They feel really good. They love it. I have seen every time they come, I notice them more confidence in themselves, especially my oldest one.
When my parents told me that there was a burn camp with a lot of people like me over there, I was pretty excited. Also because I was a kid and camp meant anything that's fun, far away from home. I remember when we were driving over there that I was also feeling a little anxious because I didn't know what the other people there would be like. I was pleasantly surprised when I arrived there. There was a lot of people there to greet you, and it was a really nice environment. Had a lot of fun at camp and have some really good memories from there.
Seeing other people with what I have is pretty nice. Makes me feel like my brother and I aren't the only people, and it makes me feel at home.
I remember that it was not easy for me before the accident to tell my family, I love you. I'm not a person that expresses a lot, but after the accident, we learn now to say I love you every time, any moment, because you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. You don't know if you're gonna be here tomorrow. That was one of the things that we got after the accident. When we got the accident, the first things I thought, how am I gonna look right now? Because before the accident, I used to care a lot about myself, my body. And now I was like, as soon as I'm healthy, as soon as I'm alive, and my kids and my family, all of us are alive and healthy, that's the important thing.
I feel like I probably learned to be strong from her because she doesn't really let what other people see her, what people tell her, get to her, doesn't really. I feel like she wears her scars with pride and not with shame. And I feel like she's a really strong person for being able to do that.
The Arizona Burn Foundation for us has been more than just, a lifeline. It's almost like having extended family. It is like having extended family. Somebody that we know we can call, somebody that we know that if we ever have doubts, they can help us make the right decision. In all the years we've been involved with burn survivors, I haven't seen one who hasn't improved. I haven't seen one that hasn't benefited from some type of therapy, whether it be surgeries, therapy, the support of the Arizona Burn Foundation. If there's anything I want to say is that there's always hope, and we're living proof.